He wasn't doing anything wrong, just sitting in his SUV, waiting for his daughter to come out of school. But in America, sometimes being a black father is enough to raise suspicion. A young officer walked up, smirking, questioning his presence. What the officer didn't know was that the man he mocked had buried a wife taken by police violence, carried the scars of war, and now stood as the district attorney of the entire county. This wasn't just another pickup line. It was the beginning of a reckoning. Langston Elementary looked like the picture of innocence. Red brick walls, murals on the playground, trophies from years gone by. For the children, it was laughter and safety. For Frederick Ames, it was a battlefield of memory. Every day, he arrived early and parked in the same spot. He wasn't just there to pick up 9-year-old Nicole, he was there to protect her. Ever since the night his wife Lena never came home, pulled over for a broken taillight and killed in what the headlines called an unfortunate mistake, Frederick's world had been locked in discipline and restraint. He had served 8 years in the military, 10 as a prosecutor, and now held the office of district attorney. To the public, he was powerful. To his daughter, he was simply dad. But to himself, he was a man balancing grief, justice, and the fragile innocence of a child who still feared the sight of a police uniform. And on this day, that fear walked straight to his car window. 3 sharp knocks. A young officer leaned in, sunglasses glinting, posture dripping arrogance. "You hanging out here, or casing the school?" he asked, half smiling like the joke was harmless. Frederick lowered the window halfway. Calm, even. "I'm here to pick up my daughter." "Got ID?" Frederick studied him. Clean-shaven, cocky, the kind of man who'd never been told no. The badge read Officer J. Huxley. Slowly, carefully, Frederick reached into his coat and handed over an ID card. Not his driver's license, but his professional badge. The officer blinked, reading the words. "District Attorney?" He laughed. "Guess even big shots wait in the car line like the rest of us." But there was no apology, only mockery. "Well, you weren't here years ago," Huxley added, "and frankly, you don't exactly blend in." The words stung, not because they were new, but because they were familiar. Frederick tucked his badge away. "You've done your job. You can leave now." Huxley lingered, smirking, before strolling back to his cruiser. Minutes later, Nicole ran out, braids bouncing, a lollipop in her hand. She climbed into the SUV, smiling, until she saw the police car. "Was he mean?" she whispered. Frederick's voice was steady. "He doesn't matter." But inside, he knew the truth. Men like Huxley always mattered. They left scars, even when they thought they were just doing their jobs. That night, Frederick opened a folder marked Internal Affairs. Huxley's name appeared. Minor complaints, aggressive stops, disrespect. Nothing that stuck. Frederick didn't want revenge, but he knew silence gave power, and silence had already cost him too much. The next afternoon, the same patrol car appeared. Same spot, same arrogance. But this time, Frederick didn't just sit. When Nicole was safe inside the car, he walked straight to Huxley. Calm, direct. "Officer," he said, "got a minute?" Huxley smirked. "For you, Mr. District Attorney, always." Frederick handed him a sealed envelope. "A formal request for your reassignment. Effective immediately." The smile vanished. On what grounds? Frederick's eyes locked on his. On the grounds that parents should feel safe when they pick up their children. And right now, they don't. Huxley's jaw tightened. "This is intimidation." "No," Frederick replied evenly. "This is oversight." He turned and walked away, leaving the officer holding the envelope like a man who had just realized the rules weren't his to bend anymore. Change didn't come overnight. The school sent polite letters asking Frederick to limit his presence. The town tried to look away, to bury discomfort. But Frederick didn't stop. He filed motions, reviewed hidden complaints, and gave voice to stories long silenced. Soon, Huxley was permanently reassigned. Internal audits began. Other parents spoke up. Even Captain Rosner, the precinct head, was forced to face files he had signed and ignored. But the real impact wasn't in the courthouse. It was in Nicole's classroom, when she stood during reading hour and shared the story she had written. My mom was brave. My dad listens when I'm scared, and that makes me safe. The room fell silent. Not the silence of fear, but of truth. Frederick realized justice wasn't always loud. Sometimes it was a child brave enough to speak. Weeks later, standing before a community forum, Frederick ended with words that carried beyond the room. Silence doesn't mean peace. It only means fear has settled in, and we're done living afraid. The applause was quiet, steady, and real. And for the first time since Lena's death, Frederick felt that maybe, just maybe, the world had started to listen. If you liked this story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories like this to you.